Hello friends, today I'm going to review and do a flip through of Easy Peasy Language Arts workbook for first grade and also their reading program for first grade. I chose to get all the offline books, so we just needed these books. I didn't do anything online for her for language arts through all-in-one homeschool. But you can do it through there and it's free online. So we'll start with the language arts workbook over here. In first grade, they're working on pronouns, spelling, punctuation, capitalization, nouns, plurals, and more. So it's important to get the parents' guide. Both of these are very affordable on Amazon. This is a book created to help you go offline while following Easy Peasy's language arts curriculum. And it starts off with some poetry to read to your children and find some rhymes and things. So that's why this book is definitely important to have, because these poems are not in the student book. But every day is laid out. Here's your lesson. Students will do this, and then they give you some tips on what to say, what to teach. It's very open and go. And then all that is just the first day. Now I will say at the beginning, like I said, there's a lot of poetry, but as you keep going, pretty much it just says what the students will be working on that day and what worksheet they'll be doing, and maybe a few things that you might want to give examples for to help them with their worksheet page. And then in the back, they have all the workbook answers for the student workbook. I like that that's in a separate parent's guide instead of in the student book. So this is the student book, and I would say this is a very Charlotte Mason kind of type language arts to me, just because the lessons are very short, to the point, and it doesn't take too long. But I feel like my daughter definitely learned well with this. So this is lessons 1 through 45, starting with some phonics. And you also get into some writing. This is lessons 46 through 90, punctuation, alphabetical order, poems, how to write them, some silly stories you can write. This is lessons 91 through 135. Lots of spelling involved in here. I did supplement with another spelling curriculum, but I don't necessarily think it's necessary. Then you learn plurals, writing, pronouns, contractions. So that's kind of what this book encompasses. So again, this was lesson 1, and this was the worksheet that went along with the poem. And this was all there was for that day, other than reading the poem, talking about that. There was definitely some teaching going on before you did the worksheet, but this is one day right here. And then it continues on. There's copy work throughout this book, which I really appreciated. So this was basically our handwriting as well. And the copy work, the lines come from the Easy Peasy reader. So that was always fun for my daughter to have something that was what she had read that day as well. Although you wouldn't have to do them both together. Most days have copy work. I'm just going to skip ahead. Here's where they were learning about the main idea. Again, this is one day right here. Punctuation, copy work. It was a good I think it was a good amount for first grade. It didn't stress her too much. And this is kind of brainstorming for writing, so they would have a page of brainstorming, and then we would get into the writing. And she also mentioned in the teacher guide that if the student's having trouble with spelling and it's stressful for them to write, then you can write it for them. They can narrate to you what they want to say or dictate to you. And I did that some because I did feel like that gave her a little more creativity with her writing, because she wasn't worried about spelling things correctly. Punctuation, copy work, and then here's some of the spelling. So you do a few pages of learning the words, and then there is like a test day. More spelling, and there's where we got into plurals, just adding an S, words that add ES, IES, all those rules. There's just fun activities. There's a little bit of cut and paste. There's a few games, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy involved. This is very open and go. I appreciate that a lot. I didn't have to do anything beforehand. We just, what are we doing today? So all right, so that's the language arts for first grade. And then here is the reader and the workbook for that. I will say the reading is definitely pretty advanced. This is chapter 1. And they want us to read it, and we kind of learn about Roman numerals in this. And then you narrate what you just read or what happened. So I think she does mention, like at the beginning, you can just have them read a paragraph or a couple of sentences and you can read most of it. But hopefully by the end, they will be reading most of it. We would switch on and off. So every other paragraph I would read and then she would read, just so it wasn't too overwhelming for her. But again, I like the tell what happened in the chapter to a parent or older sibling. So it's very much working on narration, which is another Charlotte Mason inspired part of this. But yes, lots of if you just read this a little bit, the snowball sailed through the air and struck the stranger's battered hat, knocking it off into the snow. And of course, Jolly Robin couldn't help laughing. It's very, it's not simple. It's rich language, and I appreciate that about this. So we did go ahead and grab the reader for second grade. We got Peter Rabbit in here. There's poems in here too. Little Red Riding Hood. There's lots of the Tale of Reddy Woodpecker, and there's lots in that series. So there's Reddy Woodpecker, there's Buster Bear, and these are like books that are multiple chapters long. So every day you work through one chapter. Danny Meadow Mouse. There's a section, I don't know if I'll flip to it exactly, but there was more poetry and just reading a poem each day. Then at the end there was the chapter book, I forget what it's called, about the Macedonians, kind of like a missionary minded story, and I appreciated that too. So anyway, this was the reading. This was the last day. And again, this story maybe isn't as challenging as some of the earlier things to read, but I appreciate the rich literature that's included. It's not easy to read, but I think it's great for vocab learning, for, yeah, what is a current bun? Yeah, it was a good book to read, and I'm thankful that it's all here together in one volume. And this was the workbook that went along with it. And so right here, these are the lessons in the reader that have a worksheet that matches it. So as you can see, there's only a handful, and it starts on day 102. That's when the first worksheet is in here. But then there's a bunch of additional activities to be used. So I didn't grab this book to go with the second grade reader, even though it's great activities. I just felt like there wasn't a ton of worksheets that actually went with the readings, so I didn't feel like it was necessary. But we did do all of them in here, and it was a great repetition, even if you want something to like supplement the language arts. So that is my review and flip through of the Easy Peasy language arts for grade 1 and the reading for grade 1. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. Thank you.